Hello everyone, it's Tanya here from Meraki Coaching, and I need to make an apology to you all. I had advertised my full moon workshop. It was the first time that I was doing this online, and I was using a different scheduling thingy or appointment app, website, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't realize the default settings were set so that people could not book less than 3 days in advance. And considering that I only started telling you all about this 3 days ago, none of you could book in. And I only just realized that this afternoon. So my sincerest apologies for everybody who tried to book and couldn't. As my way of saying I'm very sorry for my technological mistake, I have decided to record part of what I was going to do during the workshop, and also give you the link to the playlist I made for Spotify, on Spotify, so you can have that dance and that release. So again, very, very sorry about all of that. Oh, and also I still do have the full moon birth chart readings available if you want to know exactly how this is going to affect you personally, and where it's playing out in your own chart. You can book in for that. I've opened up more appointment times. I've opened up Friday. I don't normally work Fridays. And I've also opened up Saturday afternoon. So there's 2 extra days there for you to book into if you'd like to have a bit of one-on-one time with me, talking about this moon and your chart. So again, very sorry, but let's just have a look at the chart and what we're dealing with here. Well, it's really interesting, actually. I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment because I actually just want to have a little preamble. It's very interesting the times that we're living in. And I'm saying that a lot. I say that a lot all the time. I think that the world is very interesting, and we're going through so many shifts and changes really, really quickly at the moment. But at the moment, we have the coronavirus or COVID-19, however you like to refer to it. And it's just changing everything. It's changing how we socialize and interact with everyone. That's one of the biggest parts of it. We are all spending more time in our homes. There's nothing to go and do or see. Everything's shut. Going to the supermarket is pretty much, my big outing at the moment. And we're all adjusting to this new way of living, and it's really having effects and changes on our relationships. I know at least 3 people personally who had started dating somebody for a couple of months, and the thought of going into lockdown or isolation meant that they've moved in together really, really quickly. Like, it's sped up that timeline for them. Other things, it's like slowing down other relationships because you can't see people as frequently as you would, or it's changing the way and the dynamics between people because it's more about conversation. It's opening you up to getting on the phone or FaceTime with people and talking to them, and really breaking down those barriers. And perhaps over time, depending on how long this goes, it's going to get us to open up a little bit more and be a little bit more vulnerable, rather than just have that surface conversation. Because not having that catch up of like, oh, what have you been doing? Blah, 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 blah. Rattle off all the things you've been doing. The conversations are going to start to deepen, and we might start talking more about how we feel about things and our opinions and our wishes and dreams and hopes and desires and fears and everything else a little bit more, when we don't have all of that surface stuff to distract us. It just is chit chat. So you can see us all just sort of opening up our hearts a little bit. And it's really getting us to look at what we value in our relationships as well. Who we want to talk to, who we reach out to call, and who might drift away from you at this time. It's getting us to spend more time in our own company. And for a lot of people, they don't do that very often. They find it a bit scary, and they might not enjoy the process of sitting with themselves and seeing all of these shadows start to creep up for them. And it might be tough for people in that way, and so your relationship with yourself is changing, whether you like it or not, and you're starting to be like, okay, what do I need in my day? What routines do I need? Personally, I'm someone who does like a lot of variety in the location of where I work. You often see me making a video here, just because it's one of the best spots in my house to do it. But personally, when I'm working, I like to go to cafes. I like to go to co-working spaces. I don't like to sit at the same desk day in, day out. That's just not me. And I realized that a long time ago. And so I'm finding it very hard to just be in my house all the time. And trying to work out, okay, I'm very uncomfortable being here, and what can I do about it to adjust and to find new ways to stimulate myself, so I stay motivated and don't go crazy and yell at the people I live with, and how do I express myself and my boundaries and how I'm feeling and my moods in a really good way, so I don't cause friction in the house. And how do I manage my space with other people, and how are they managing it with me? It's this really diving deeply into that for me. So that's my personal experience with it. Others who are living alone, I know, are finding it really hard to actually not be around people. So there's all these different ways that we are feeling uncomfortable, and we need to feel comfortable being uncomfortable, and to sit with it, and to lean into it all, because this is changing us, and it's changing us for the better. And even if right now it feels like a bit of a clusterfuck, and the unknown is scaring you, it's about trusting and surrendering to the process, because I feel like we're not going to be able to go back to the way we were. Once this virus is done and treated and we're allowed to leave our houses again, we're still not going to be going back to the way we were, because this process is a big spiritual awakening for everybody. And spiritual awakenings are uncomfortable. So it's just the very beginning. And if you really can't manage this, if this is something that's completely beyond anything you've ever experienced before, and these feelings are very intense for you, please reach out to the help that you have in your community. There's lots of different phone lines. I know in Australia there's Beyond Blue and Lifeline and people like that you can call to chat to if you're feeling really rough about it. I offer ongoing coaching as well as astrology, and I have gone through periods of growth and change myself, and so I can support you through that. There are other healers and body workers and everybody out there, so please use this time and use the support networks that you have around you to help you through this. So the sign of Libra, this is the full moon in Libra, and it's really timely that we've got it. I don't think there's any coincidence that we are going through these big changes with our relationships, and we have the full moon in Libra, which is all about relationships. Look at that. So the sign of Libra, it's the 7th sign in the zodiac. The first 6 are all about developing who we are and what makes us us. And then when we get to Libra and beyond, it's all about us relating to the world. And so it's this thing, it's this me and the we. Libra is opposite the sign of Aries. If I show you on the screen, you can see that we've got the moon here in Libra, and it's directly opposite the sun in Aries. And that's what a full moon is. It's when the moon is opposite the sun. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's all about me, and this is who I am, and I'm out here in the world, and, you know, I'm independent and nobody can really tell me what to do, and I'm just headstrong and inspired, and I'm going to follow my nose and see where it takes me. It's fire, it's passion, it's impulse, it's intuition. Libra, on the other hand, is an air sign, and so it's all about the mind. It's thinking, it's about relating, it's about harmony, it's about balance. You'll see that the glyph here, it's like scales, and it's often used like the scales of justice as well. And so it's where we have balance and harmony, or where we don't have balance and harmony in our lives and our relationships. And it's this pull, it's between where are we out of balance with ourselves and where are we out of balance with others? And how can we fix this balance? Now, this is it for Melbourne in Australia. This was the exact time of the full moon today at 12:35 p.m. where all the planets are. And so today in Melbourne, we had the North Node here on the ascendant. Now, the North Node is all about our future growth and potential. And it's been in the sign of Cancer for about 18 months, and soon it will move into Gemini, about mid-year. But I find it's really interesting that we've had to all retreat into our homes at the moment, because Cancer is the sign of the home. It's the sign of family, foundations, and nurturing, emotions, feeling. And at the moment, this is what we're all going through. It's like we hadn't really learnt our lesson. We hadn't really felt into those Cancerian themes and qualities. And so at the very last point of the North Node in Cancer, we're being forced to really look at this and really learn our lesson intensely. So the nodes, they travel clockwise around the zodiac, and every other planet is anti-clockwise. So they're the only ones that sort of go backwards, per se. Opposite the North Node is the South Node. And it's in Capricorn, which is all about business, hierarchies. It's about building something up. It's things like religions and finances, global finances as well. And we had this big conjunction between Pluto and Saturn at the start of January, which started this seismic shift throughout the world of changing all of our global systems and business and how things are run. It was around the time that they started to really report the coronavirus. Here in Australia, we had severe bushfires at that time. And so I actually honestly don't feel like I was paying that much attention to the coronavirus, because it was all about the bushfires for me then. But that sort of started this shift of these changing these the global economies and the business worlds. And this big conjunction between Saturn and Pluto only happens like every 35-ish years. Like the last time it happened was in November 1982. And that was in the sign of Libra. And the big things that happened back then was the stock market crashed. And also from a virus point of view, that's when AIDS really started to come out and be discovered. And so again, we are experiencing this big type of virus, which people don't know what it is or how it works and how to cure it. And we are starting to see all our economies change because we are working from home. A lot of people can't work. There's a lot of industries out there like the whole tourism industry, like that's really being affected. Like how we are starting to change and grow in this world it's just mind blowing. We're at the very beginnings of it. We've got those. It's the Tower card in tarot where things are crumbling and falling, and we don't really know how they're going to be built up again. So that's where the South Node is. It's like this is what we used to know, but it's starting to crumble. So yeah, we had the Saturn Pluto conjunction in January, and right now we have Pluto and Jupiter in conjunction as well. Now Jupiter is it's all about expansion and travel and adventure and optimism. And since it entered Capricorn, it's not very happy in Capricorn, because Capricorn's all about structure and discipline and focus. And so Jupiter's felt like its wings have been clipped a little bit. And again, there is this thing of like, we aren't being able to do things the way we wanted to. Our wings have been clipped because we're told we can't go anywhere. And Pluto being a planet of transformation and change, it's this different type of expansion and change and lessons for us to learn when it comes to business and work and how we're seen in the world. We recently had Saturn move into Aquarius. It will be there until July, where it will retrograde back into Capricorn, and then at the end of the year head back into Aquarius for a couple of years. Now Saturn is the rule of Capricorn, so it is all about boundaries, and it's like the stern parent really of the zodiac, creating those boundaries, creating it's being disciplined and focused. And Aquarius is all about the collective and being innovative and freedom and change. And so Saturn here is just saying, no, you can't do things the way that you wanted to. We need to just restructure the way we interact with others. We need to focus and heal the world and heal the collective. So in one way, it's restricting our movements and our freedom, but in another way, it's helping us to actually focus and all work together. You'll see that it's this global thing. Everybody's working together to find a cure. People are joining together to do what they can, even if staying home is the thing that you can do. Everyone, that's your part in this collective journey to work together and to find a cure and to get through this time of the coronavirus, which is really going to go down in the history books. Also at the moment we have Mars in Aquarius, he again has recently entered Aquarius. Mars is how we do things. It's our drive, it's our masculine energy, it's how we assert ourselves. And so again, there's that sense of like, we're really working together in the collective, and we're really driven and passionate about doing things for the good of others. He is trine over to Venus, who has recently entered Gemini. Gemini is, Venus in Gemini wants to be curious and communicate with others. And so these two right now are working together. It's like, again, where is the balance between our masculine and our feminine? Where is the balance in our relationships? How are we communicating with people? Who do we value to communicate with, and how often do we do that? What new things can we learn? Where can we find freedom and change and innovation when we have these boundaries around ourselves? There's all of these questions coming up for us to work with that. If we move up to Pisces here, we've had Neptune in Pisces for a while. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and it is reminding us that we are all one, and we're all in this together, and we are all connected. And it's getting us to tap into that spiritual side of ourselves, and into that thing of where we know the answers, but we need to stop and listen. And this slowing down that we are doing right now um, is helping us to stop and listen and to find the answers and to work out what we can do globally. Even after the coronavirus is all over, like there are still things like climate change. That's a huge thing that we all need to work together on. We're starting to see the environment actually improve by people not using cars and so frequently, and air travel and cruise ships and all of that. Like the environment is starting to heal. And so it's this sense of, how can we work together to actually heal the environment and heal the collective consciousness as well, so that even beyond this time we can be sustainable and happy and have this collective growth together. Mercury is in Pisces for a little bit longer. It's been a long time in Pisces because we had a retrograde, and actually when Mercury was in retrograde, that was that big let's all buy all the toilet paper time, because we weren't thinking very clearly. It was a very murky time. We didn't have all the facts about the virus and what was going on with it. And so it was causing us to go a little crazy. But now, we've shifted past all of that. And hopefully soon when Mercury moves into Aries, we're going to be feeling a lot clearer and be able to, be really inspired to find the solution to our issues. We have Chiron in Aries, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So again, it's healing that place in ourselves. You'll see here that it is in sextile to Mars and Venus. So it is that extra shift into how we heal in our masculine and our feminine energy, how we're balancing out our relationships. Where can we be ourselves as well as respect others, not to always take, not to always give, but to have that beautiful harmony between people. How can we teach others to do the same? Again, we have the sun in Aries. And yeah, when people have a lot of Libra in their charts, they can people please a lot because they're always wanting to make sure that other people around them are happy. And the lesson there is to take something of Aries of being really strong in yourself and knowing who you are, and knowing, I wrote in my blog post that sometimes you disappoint the people you love, and sometimes you piss them off, and when they really love you, they accept you for who you are, even though they're disappointed and pissed off in that moment. Because sometimes it's really, really important to honor your needs and to say, no, I don't want to go to that party, or no, I don't want to do this thing because it really doesn't feel right for me, knowing that it will upset somebody else. But it's always about making sure that it comes from a place of honoring yourself rather than being contrary. Because at the end of the day, it's being true to yourself and being who you are. And this moon is really teaching us that it's not about merging with another person, which is that old programming that a lot of people have, that you have to merge with someone, that you have to rely on someone, that you must have a partner, that you must have someone to complete you. It's about meeting somebody where you're at and where they're at, and saying, this is who we are as two individuals, and we need to learn how to work together, and you can show me my shadows and how I can improve, and I'll do the same for you. Together we'll grow and shape and change, but we still remain two complete people, and we still have our individuality. And that's the lesson between Aries and Libra. Rounding out the chart is Uranus in Taurus, and it's been there for nearly a year, causing all sorts of changes and shakeups and seismic shifts with things. And again, it's helping us just to really look at our values and finding new values. Like, do we really need to have so much stuff? Do we really need to be out there spending money all the time? Or can we really enjoy the simple pleasures in life, such as playing board games and doing jigsaw puzzles? Do we really need to be busy all the time? Can we just enjoy hanging out with the people we love? And again, it's changing those values across everything. So there is one other aspect which I haven't actually brought up on this chart, but it's the goddess asteroid Juno, and she's here around 12 degrees Libra, and Juno represents marriage and commitment and give and take as well. So she's been in Libra for a while as well. So it has been a big year of looking at our relationships, and this is really another way for us to go through these shifts and changes. So the full moon being at 18 degrees and Juno is at 12, it is really close. So it's highlighting our commitments to others, our commitments to ourselves, where we give too much, where we take too much. It's about redressing that balance. So that's the chart. That's what's happening. If you want to know how all of those aspects are hitting your own birth chart, you can book in for a reading. Like I said, I've opened up my days a little bit more, just as I'm sorry that I screwed up this full moon workshop. But I will also supply you with the link to the playlist I made, because I find that dancing and moving is the best way to release. You don't have to think about what you're releasing. You can just dance and you know that something's leaving your system. So you don't always have to know what it is for it to go, which is really great. Like your soul knows, and your soul's letting it go. So I created this playlist and I really wanted to share it with people. So it tells us, it goes through the journey and the story of the tug of war in the heart that comes from relationships, and the heartbreak that happens when they don't work out and when they end, before going through knowing that you are your own soulmate, and that once you're connected with yourself and you marry up all those parts of yourself and you're strong in who you are, that's the best that matters. And then you are able to go and appreciate and fall in love and form partnerships and other friendships and connections with people from a different place, because you've got everything that you need inside of you and you're not looking for somebody else to complete you. So it steps through that. It steps through feeling at home with other people. So it's about that moment of being comfortable and wonderful and just wanting to be with someone because they lift you up and bring you joy throughout all of the life experiences, the ups and the downs, but knowing that you feel at home and safe, and that you formed that connection from a really real and honest place, an authentic place. Knowing that you just have to let go and let life take you where it wants to take you. Right now, we're all surrendering. And yeah, coming back home to your heart. So that's the journey of the playlist. Turn down the lights, turn up the music, have a dance. Make sure you lie down afterwards and drink a lot of water. You might feel a little bit vulnerable afterwards. That's possible. Sometimes you can have an energetic hangover of a bit of a headache and things like that. So just take care of yourself. afterwards, if you do feel that way over the next few days, this energy of the full moon will continue for a couple more days. So you can really feel into it and enjoy it, and enjoy where it's taking you. And just really say thank you to the things that you're letting go of, because they've made you who you are. And know that that's creating space for some new amazing things to come into your life. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed having a watch of this, and hopefully I will see you again next full moon, and we can do this again. So yes, I love you all, and thanks for watching. Mwah.